Local news now on 102.1 WALT Meridian.
I'm Cash Matlock with Queen City News Feed. Here's what's happening. Lauderdale County Sheriff's deputies and the Meridian Police Department were seen in the Briarwood subdivision Sunday afternoon investigating a suspicious death. We are waiting for more details on this case. That's all we know at this time. Several arrests were made after a structure fire broke out at an apartment complex on North Glen Avenue in Quitman around 1 p.m. Sunday, although the fire has been ruled as accidental. According to Clark County Hot Topics, a structure at Shadowwood Apartments was fully engulfed. When first responders arrived on scene, a female resident at the apartment complex allegedly charged at volunteer firefighters with a makeshift knife while they were trying to battle the blaze. Linda Thompson was arrested at the scene and charged with simple assault on a fireman. Bond will be set for Thompson later today. A second male individual was also arrested after he allegedly admitted to starting the fire on purpose. However, after an extensive investigation by arson specialists, the male suspect was cleared of any wrongdoing and the fire was ruled as accidental. A third individual, Matthew Scott, was arrested by Quitman Police Department on Long Boulevard in Quitman for old fines. Tony Lindsay, the husband of Meridian City Councilwoman Taisha Bell Lindsay, was arrested and charged with domestic violence Saturday evening. At last check, no bond has been set. I'm Cash Matlock with Queen City News Feed. For more news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook or visit queencitynewsfeed.com.
We want to hear from you, Meridian. Call now, 601-485-9191. Now, back to more Mornings in Meridian on News Talk 102.1 WALT.
Well, folks, good morning. Welcome into a brand new week here on Mornings in Meridian, the 19th day of August, 2024, and hope you had a fantastic weekend. We want to hear from you out there here in East Mississippi and West Alabama as we kick off hour number one of the two best hours of local live talk radio here in East Mississippi, West Alabama. 601-485-9191. That is our number. We want to hear from you. Of course, we're online right now, WALTmeridian.com, doing that Facebook Live thing, that YouTube thing, the app, and lots of other spots, and of course the traditional radio way, 102.1 on that FM dial. Roger is off this morning celebrating his 40th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary to the Burks this morning. So
that is a patient woman, I got to tell you.
And that is the voice of Charles Freeshaw.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing quite well. So
Excellent.
happy anniversary to Roger and Debbie Burke this morning,
Right
celebrating
on. 40 years.
40th anniversary.
Wow.
So Roger will be back a little later this week as they celebrate a little time off together. So, but we got a lot of ground to cover this morning. It is Democratic National Convention Week.
It's like Christmas. No.
Listen to you. Listen
Wow,
to.
I think we're all celebrating.
Listen to you.
yeah.
Listen to you.
Stop.
So.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be watching too much.
Yeah, so they're kicking things off there in Chicago tonight. Of course, it'll be nearly a week-long event. Of course, it'll kick off tonight and run through Thursday evening. So we'll take a look at each night of who's going to be speaking. Of course, kind of the usual folks you would expect from Obama to Clinton and many others.
Right.
So, but we'll take a look at what's going to be at the convention this week. Of course, there's a lot of concern about protesting there in Chicago this week. Of course, pro-Palestinian protesting going on there, and they're expecting, I saw a number on that this morning, like tens of thousands of pro-Palestinian protests are happening this week.
Okay.
So, and I saw one of the banners this morning on Fox as I was kind of doing the channel surfing this morning, and one of them said, what was it, feminists and LGBTQ plus for Palestine. And I'm like, and that's exactly what, that was my sentiments right there.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So go ahead and make a trip to Palestine with that banner and see how long you last.
With the rainbow flag, yeah.
I just find that hilarious.
Wow, okay.
Because Charles, refresh all of our memories if...
They're Muslim. They're not very friendly towards.
I was about to
communities.
say, I don't think that kind of
But
works.
the hijab. What do you call those things? You know, the full burqa. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Exactly.
So,
Well, and in all honesty, I don't know if the Palestinians are as strict as far as their interpretation of, I guess, Islamic law, but still, it's a common theme throughout the Middle East that those types of groups, certainly women are marginalized in a lot of those societies, but certainly the LGBTQ plus
hello building and enjoy your flight.
Exactly. 15-story building. Yes.
Enjoy your flight off the top.
It's a wonderful view. Not so much when it's coming at you closely, but where the ground is anyway.
Yeah. So we'll take more look at the DNC this week. Of course, Vice President Harris on the campaign trail Friday unveiled her economic plan, and boy, it has got a major price tag on it. So
yeah.
We'll take a look at that. Also, we'll kind of pick apart some of the local headlines from the weekend. Of course, a very mysterious story. You heard Cash Matlock lead off with that this morning. Mysterious death out in the Briarwood community that is still under investigation from local authorities. And so just really not a whole lot more we can say on that.
Fairly tight-lipped about it. I mean, no details have been released at this point, just that there was a death, and I don't think that it was a straightforward one. So it was suspicious somehow. So anyway, makes me suspicious.
Makes you suspicious. So, but we'll see if we get more details from the MPD or the Sheriff's Department. And speaking of the Sheriff's Department, we will have the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the county on the program tomorrow. Ward Calhoun will be stopping in for his monthly visit tomorrow.
Excellent.
So maybe by then we'll have maybe details that he could possibly share on the air tomorrow, along with some other cases. And of course, the Sheriff's Office has been in the news a lot over the last week or two. We'll visit with him tomorrow. His monthly stop here to Mornings in Meridian.
That's right. Get your questions ready.
Absolutely. 601-485-9191 as we kick off the show this morning. And, of course, we always like to kick off our show by making that short drive to Philadelphia to thank our friends up at Doc's Toyota. Of course, DocsToyota.com, service department, and much more. They've got it there at Doc's.
They got it all, and they got it going on. I'll tell you what, they've got all kinds of 2024 Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, Highlanders, even the new Land Cruisers. That is a good-looking vehicle. And, of course, they have a huge, it's a very large selection of pre-owned inventory, all been through the rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you know you're getting a good quality used vehicle. And, of course, all you need to do is you can take that short drive, or you can just navigate over to DocsToyota.com, and they list all their inventory there, everything both brand new and pre-owned. You can even purchase the vehicle online. How cool is that? And, of course, just take that short drive up to Doc's Toyota on Highway 16 West in Philadelphia. And, every dealership has a deal. You get all kinds of things. You get an air fryer these days for it.
Hey.
Who even knows what you can get? But I tell you what, out of all those deals, there is no deal
like a Doc's deal. Amen to that. So, yeah, I love the online deal, DocsToyota.com. Always a convenient way 485-9191 as we kick off the show this morning. Of course, you heard us mention the campaign trail was hot and heavy over the weekend. Vice President Harris made a stop in North Carolina to unveil her economic plan. $1.7 trillion is what could be added to the already very ballooning national deficit with this economic plan. And the debt is growing rapidly all the time, but this would be just kind of a shot of adrenaline to it, right?
Yeah, just add more to it. Why not? We just, put us in deeper. Right now we're at 35 trillion, which, who can even, I can't even conceive of that number, and nobody can. It's 35,000 billion.
Gee whiz.
Or 35 million? Is that what that would be? I don't know. Wow, it's,
How much is that per American?
Per
legal American.
Per citizen.
Citizen.
Is how the
that's
U.S.
the
debt
key.
clock has it calculated. 105,000.
Wow.
Now, interestingly enough, the debt per taxpayer, because only about a half the country pays taxes, $268,000.
Gee whiz.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, this plan, a lot of economists and these watchdog groups have been kind of picking apart all of the parts of it, and rightfully so. It should be $1.7 trillion to the national debt, according to a budget watchdog. Now, the plan has been dubbed. This is what they're calling it: an agenda to lower costs for American families. Wow, that was a brilliant title to it. It was released on Friday as Harris lays out her platform in her campaign for president. It includes expansions of the child tax credit, which, to be fair on that, J.D. Vance has been really pushing for that on the campaign trail as well, for a child tax credit, and earned income tax credit, as well as an extension of the health insurance premium subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, a.k.a. Obamacare, that are due to expire at the end of next year. Would also establish, and this is the big one here, it would also establish a new $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you get a $25,000 tax credit according to her plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Expand tax credits for building affordable housing. Create a $40 billion housing initiative fund, and seek to lower prescription drug prices through negotiations and increase transparency. A rapid analysis by the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget found that these plans would increase federal budget deficits by $1.7 trillion over the next decade. Oh, that's just over the next decade.
That's fine.
That's fine. We can spread it out. The figure would rise to $2 trillion if temporary housing policies the vice president has proposed are eventually made permanent. So, Charles, for folks that already own a home, question: when you bought your first home, did you get that $25,000 tax credit?
No, I didn't at all.
So is this kind of like the old student debt type thing where you for folks who took out a loan and had to pay it back, but they get $25,000 tax credit there for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's frustrating for a lot of people who scrimped and saved to get that first down payment and that sort of thing. I have no issue with, I guess, government kind of, FHA loans and things like that, which are government, I guess, sponsored or guaranteed. I don't know how that process works, which for first-time home buyers is almost a zero down. It's a very low down payment if the house qualifies for, has certain criteria. Well, we can ask Steve about that next time he's in.
Yeah.
But, $25,000, that's huge.
Yeah.
And, I think that home ownership is something that we should, certainly encourage people to pursue. I think that's a great way to build wealth and to pass that wealth on to the next generation. But I don't know if that's, I really don't think that's the right way to go about it. Like everybody else, work 2 jobs, save your money and get that down payment and have good credit, And everybody messes up as a kid. You're 18, 19, and you max that credit card. You're like, whoa, free money. But then, of course, you get responsible, and then you work hard and do it right. So anyway, it's sort of an interesting proposal, and I don't know why. I do know why. I guess she's appealing to those people who don't own homes and trying to get those votes.
Yeah, the most expensive component of this entire plan would be the expansion of this child tax credit by making it fully refundable and increasing the base credit from $2,000 to $3,000, or to $3,600 for children under the age of 6. That would cost a total of $1.1 trillion over 10 years relative to the extension of the CTC and related policies as structured under the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, while that figure would rise to $1.8 trillion when compared to current law, given that CTC policies are slated to expire. So it would boost the credit for children in the first year of their lives to $6,000, which will cost a further $100 billion over a decade. So that's the biggest price tag on this on the child tax credit.
I guess, you're giving credit, so you're just reducing the amount of revenue. But okay, if you're going to reduce the amount of revenue coming in, then reduce the expenses. If your budget is going to drop by this much, then because of this expanded child tax credit, then quit spending so much. Quit giving away all this foreign aid. And so that would seem to be okay. If you're going to reduce the revenue by this amount, by X, then quit spending. Subtract that amount of spending.
It says here on the Obamacare premium tax credit, extending the expansion of that would cost $400 billion over the decade. Increasing the earned income tax credit for workers without child dependents or tax purposes would cost $150 billion. The $25,000 first-time homebuyer credit, which is scheduled to be in place for 4 years. 4 years. Interesting.
Okay.
During the 4 years of presidency. Okay. Based on Harris's plan, would cost $100 billion over a decade, and based on her campaign's estimate of 4 million eligible home buyers, 4 million first-time eligible home buyers, through which the Watchdog Group believes that number could be higher and result in additional cost. So I don't know where they get the 4 million from, but it could be a lot more than that by the time that would be done. Additional affordable housing policies included in her plan would also be in place for 4 years and would also cost $100 billion over 10 years. The Watchdog Group notes that the cost could differ due to non-yet specified details of Harris's proposal. Now, there is another part of this, too, and that is, I hope I'm saying this right, regulating grocery prices. The government would have something to do with regulating grocery prices, which is quite interesting, too. Like price gouging, like if stores price gouge something, the government could come in and say, no, you're not doing that right. So,
well, and I think that's kind of ridiculous, and I don't think it applies to a whole lot of the market, because I think that the only place that you would see that is in sort of an urban environment where your costs are that much higher because you've got to pay a certain amount in minimum wage, of course. Hey, guess what? That's going up.
That's going up.
And then, of course, you know, to lease the space is at a premium.
Big time.
And so, you know, and to get everything trucked in and all that kind of stuff. So you've got, you know, in the cities, that's where you're going to have more expensive things. I mean, we've seen that. I mean, you go to New York or wherever it is, and you buy something in the grocery store, you're like, wow, it's $3 more, or $4, $5, whatever it is. So I wonder if that's the intent, is to create a lower price grocery in the sort of inner city, which are already having enough problems keeping stores there, and now you're going to tell them that they can only charge a certain amount for something, yet you have to pay this minimum wage, and of course the rent is as the market goes, you know, the lease space or the purchase space. So you're going to eliminate even more stores in those inner cities and create more problems for the people living there.
Wow.
That's what it seems to me. That's what's going to happen. Out here where we're rural and, you know, we've probably got some of the lowest prices in the country, it won't affect us at all. You know, I think that's what the market is bearing. And so certainly nobody, Winn-Dixie, they're not, you know, or Walmart or whoever they are, they're not making, you know, a whole lot of money from those groceries, and they're making enough to survive. But anyway. That's my assessment of it.
Well, here is a report I found. We always like to hear what the big networks like to say, and that be NBC, CBS, ABC. Well, this is the report from NBC Today over the weekend. This was how they reported her economic plan that she unveiled in that stop in North Carolina. This is courtesy of the Today Show's YouTube channel. Give it a listen here.
Vice President Kamala Harris unveiling her economic agenda Friday.
For too many people, no matter how much they work, it feels so hard to just be able to get ahead.
The Democratic nominee in waiting pitching her plans to tackle the costs of food, housing, medicine, and childcare.
The bills add up. For many families,
no kidding,
there's not much left at the end of the month.
Promising to address the issue at the top of voters' minds. Her plan includes an expanded child tax credit of up to $6,000 for families with newborns and up to $25,000 in down payment assistance for first-time homebuyers. Harris also saying she'll work with Congress to impose a federal ban on what her campaign calls price gouging in the food industry.
Most businesses are creating jobs, contributing to our economy, and playing by the rules. But some are not.
Former President Trump blaming Harris for rising inflation during his own event this week.
Something straight out of Venezuela or the Soviet Union.
The vice president using Friday's event to sharpen her attacks against her GOP rival and his own economic proposals.
It will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs.
Harris's rollout comes as inflation drops below 3%, despite prices up nearly 20% compared to 4 years ago.
In the weeks to come, I will address in greater detail my plans to build an opportunity economy.
The vice president teasing more details on her proposals as Democrats prepare to focus on the economy at their convention, which kicks off Monday.
So there you go. That was a report over the weekend from NBC as far as her economic plan goes that she unveiled back on Friday. You know, it's interesting. Trump, spoke. You heard just a few words there from Trump. When he spoke at his event over the weekend, it's amazing. It was on each side of him was grocery items. He had like breakfast cereal and packages of meat, and he was kind of giving examples of this has gone up, and this has gone up. It's kind of like pointing out certain things. But I guess on the flip side of this whole deal, the economic plan has been unveiled from the Harris campaign. But a lot of people on the right will say, well, you've had 3.5 years, the administration you currently serve under. So what's going to make this any better, I guess, is going to be.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what's going to be the difference here? We're just going to give you $25,000 as a first-time home buyer.
Right, and we're going to make sure that you don't pay a certain amount more than, you should. Or that we think you should on groceries and not let the free market, have its will. I don't see how anybody can.
It's a tough sell. It really is a tough sell. So, and of course, I think that obviously the biggest issues this week at the DNC, they're going to talk about the economy. They're going to talk about abortion's going to be a big one. That's going to be put right in your face all week long, and rightfully so. But yet this was unveiled Friday leading up into the convention. I think a lot of it is, some of it's a pipe dream in a lot of ways. But when folks hear we're going to add potentially $1.7 trillion to the national debt, they're like, ooh. But
I think it people don't understand that concept. I don't understand that concept of that much money. And so the amount that it costs is like, whatever. I mean, people are not really paying attention to that. What they're paying attention to is, hey, my groceries aren't going to go up.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, how are we going to do that? That's awesome. That sounds great. I want to buy a house. I get $25,000 tax credit. Fantastic.
Yay.
Yay. Have another kid. I get $6,000.
Yay.
Wonderful. I mean, these are the things that they're doing to say, this doesn't benefit everybody. This is just a certain part of the population. I mean, it's not a demographic of color or certain socioeconomic, but, it is to some extent with the housing thing. But it has that kind of appeal of, here you go, here's some free money, and so vote for me. Instead of, hey, this is, how do we get better as a country? How do we get back on track, start eliminating the debt, and make ourselves stronger as a nation? And I think that's the message of Trump. And it contrasts pretty markedly with that of Kamala, the Harris waltz.
Kamala. Yeah, did you see weekend there was some kind of a CNN interview where they had a Republican on there, and I think she said her name incorrectly, and they absolutely just jumped on her.
Oh boy!
So say her first name right.
Say my name.
You didn't like her about 3 months ago. Now you're defending her name.
Yes,
that's what's amazing. So yeah, that was unveiled back on Friday, and what is it now? Almost a month since she's done an interview, since she's been named, I guess, the replacement for Biden.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but of course, she will take the stage on Thursday night. That's traditionally when the presidential nominee for either party takes the stage to make their big speech. So, but of course, Waltz will be up there Thursday night, or Wednesday night rather, and there's a lot of other speakers this week. So, but
Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary is on the schedule.
I'll miss that one.
Well, I'll go over just so you're happy. I will go over the schedule with you. So they have.
That can make me happy.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is the DNC, just like the RNC, has a theme for each night. There's because when Trump they had the RNC, it was like, make America safe again. It was all the and the DNC has a theme for each night as well.
Think they'll talk about immigration? Think that'll be a theme?
Ooh,
who's going to mention that in the speech?
Ooh.
Maybe the border czar. She probably will mention it.
The borders are.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that happened. I don't
Never
think
did.
She was, no,
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
Like the Mandela effect.
So we're going to take a break. We're looking for your phone calls this morning. What do you think about the new economic plan? Just anything going on in your world, we want to hear from you. 601-485-9191. We'll take a break for Fox News, Your Money Now, and take your calls after this.
News. I'm CJ Papa. President Biden delivers a primetime address tonight at the Democratic National Convention from the United Center in Chicago with a damning report from 3 Republican House committees.
And they said their investigation found that President Biden engaged in impeachable conduct and said he abused his office and, quote, defrauded the United States to enrich his family.
Fox's Brooke Seaman in Chicago. Former President Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance are traveling to several battleground states this week. It's their counter-programming to the message from Democrats. The Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting today with the Israeli Prime Minister lasted for about 3 hours.
Negotiators are set to resume their talks this week in Cairo, Egypt, to hammer out the details of a new U.S. bridging proposal aimed at closing the gaps between Israel and Hamas.
Fox's Trey Yanks in the northern port city of Haifa in Israel. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Trump running mate J.D. Vance have all voiced support for an expanded child tax credit. Walz said he also wants to show support for working families and the child care industry as a whole. Meanwhile, research shows many business executives do not see lack of affordable, accessible child care as a labor market constraint. Small-town residents are longing for new food options, and Chipotle's successful playbook is leading other fast-casual restaurant chains, including Cava and Panda Express, to eye more stores in rural America. COVID dealt a blow to independent diners leaving and opening for national operators in towns where a Subway or a Burger King franchise were the only branded options. Futures are mixed. Friday, the Dow Industrials gained 96, the Nasdaq up 37, the S&P 500 up 11. Once again, futures are mixed. That's your...
We're flying again, and that feels so good, especially with the short drive to Meridian Regional Airport, the insanely cheap parking, and the staff that treats us like friends, because we are. Plus, we're putting our dollars into the local economy. Price your ticket from Meridian first. With United's connection to Houston and around the world, come on, let's have fun again. Fly Meridian. Fly home. Fly United.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins. Touchdown! Join us Saturday, August 31st as the Crimson Tide kick off the 2024 season at home against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on your home for Alabama football.
Meridian's News Talk 102.1 WALT Meridian.
The popularity of hydro seeding is skyrocketing. Customers notice that when Sam Bounds hydro seeds their property, before they know it, a beautiful lawn is growing. There's a reason this works so well. The seed is suspended in a moist, nutrient-rich slurry. The combination triggers the germination cycle. The mulch layer holds the seeds in place so they grow where they're put. Bounds hydro seeding is perfect for high erosion areas, new construction, or wherever you need grass to grow. Call Sam Bounds hydro seeding and erosion control, residential or commercial, at 601-917-1112.
Catch Mornings in Meridian, weekdays from 7 to 9 on Meridian's News Talk, 102.1 WALT.
The Full House theme bringing us back in. John Stamos leading off the birthdays this morning. He is turning 61. Uncle Jesse is 61 this morning.
Never a big Full House fan. I don't know. Probably not really my time, but
yeah,
were you a big Full House?
Yeah, I like Full House.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay. So, but they tried to do that whole not a remake, but kind of a reboot of it or whatever.
Full House or whatever it was.
On Netflix. They call it Fuller House.
Yeah.
So, but it was all right. A little nostalgia mixed in. But also on the birthday list today, as we kind of move on down the list here, Adam Arkin from Chicago Hope is 68 today. Peter Gallagher is 69. Been a handful of movies. And also for you Saints fans out there, a couple of former New Orleans Saints are celebrating birthdays today. Bobby Hebert.
Wow.
Is 64 today.
Okay.
Of course, he was the QB of the Saints once upon a time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very ironic that another Saint has his 64th birthday today, Morton Anderson.
Ah, Morton.
Yeah, the only guy that could score points back in the day for the Saints.
They got rid of him.
They got rid of him.
You got to be kidding me. They went to Atlanta, didn't he, after that?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. And also
painful.
today is a former president's birthday. Bill Clinton.
Oh.
Would you like to guess how old Slick Willie is today?
I'm going to go 78.
Wow! Good
Really?
job!
Oh, random guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Bill is 78 today.
Okay. Tom, what do you want? Absolutely nothing.
I just wanted a hug from Monica. That's all I wanted. Yes, and he is on the schedule.
Got a little more than that, didn't he?
And he is on the schedule to speak this week at the DNC.
Wow,
so.
it's like a birthday gift for him.
There you go.
Not for us, though.
So, and also Clay Walker from the Country World is 55, and Leah Womack from 58 is 58 today. So we'll try to play some of their tunes this morning. Phone lines are lighting up. I know we got a caller on line 2 ringing in. Just hang on because we're going to go to line 1 here. Hey, caller, welcome in. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Morning.
Lefty.
I got a good theme for the DNC.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Bring it.
Come on.
If you like free, vote for me.
If you like free, vote for me.
That's all they got to offer, isn't it?
1.7
That's
trillion.
all they ever have to offer, isn't it?
Yeah,
Free.
Yeah, 1.7 trillion added to the deficit with this plan. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, but I don't. I just. You just have to wonder how long it can go on, because there's got to be a limit to it. But you have to wonder just what is the limit when you've got, what do we got, 35, 40 trillion dollars
35
deficit?
trillion and counting.
And every 90 days or 60 days we add another trillion to it just from the interest alone? We need some responsible people up there in Congress on both sides. They need to stand up and say, "Yeah, we got some bills to pay."
And I'm glad you put it that way.
Everything else.
And I'm glad you put it that way because it is both sides.
It is both sides.
I mean, it is Republicans just alike. So
it takes two.
Yep.
Well, hopefully in 2 more years it only takes one. We'll have the Senate, the House, and the President all Republican. I hope. But
well, the thing about it is that
the Democrats just don't ever seem to promote fiscal responsibility. It's always more free stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is
but buying votes.
Yeah, the Republicans had the presidency, the House, and the Senate when Trump was in office, and not a lot got done.
Well, you can thank Yertle the Turtle from Kentucky and establishment Republicans like him.
Yep.
You know, they were so anti-Trump, they didn't want anybody rocking their boat. And it's as plain as day what's going on. They might as well be Democrats.
Yeah.
And I hear old Lindsey Graham pipe up every now and then, but he's about as wishy-washy on Trump. Remember how he used to just do everything but cuss Trump?
Mm-hmm.
And now he just loves him. You know, he's such a good man. It's just sickening. I swear. Those people, I don't forget that kind of stuff. And he needs to go, too. But anyway, on a positive note, it's not raining.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't that amazing over the weekend?
And it's only going to be 95 today, not 110. Yeah, so, ooh, okay. The cool down. That's right. Get your jackets ready.
Well, I sure have enjoyed listening to Haz chime in this last week. It's good to hear from him.
Yep.
And I'm glad he's doing better.
Absolutely. Power of prayer works.
That's right. And but that's about all I could come up with this morning. Yeah, if you like free, vote for me, because that's all they've ever got to offer is more free stuff for the people that don't put nothing in the pot.
Well, Lefty, did you hear Harris say that, these grocery stores or stores or whatever, they're out there price gouging you Americans, and we're going to regulate them as the U.S. government. We're going to go ahead and regulate them.
My question is, how would she know about anything like that? Does she go grocery shopping? I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it. But Donald Trump probably doesn't go grocery shopping either, y'all.
No.
Let's be fair. But
Oh, yeah.
I bet he's got a lot more. He's probably got people going out there and checking to see what prices are and reporting back to him. And she may too, for all I know. But all I can say is every day the sun comes up, it's one day closer to Election Day, and God help this country if we don't get Trump in there. That's all I can say. This country will not make it another 4 years with children at the helm. I mean, just absolute. They look like they're adults, but they sure don't act like them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to me. But it's just like. But that's just me.
What do you? We just mentioned. Yeah, we just mentioned Bill Clinton's birthday is today. What do you get Bill Clinton for his birthday today?
Big Mac.
His and hers party world? I mean, you head up
Whoa!
there? Well, I'm sorry.
I should have
Something
known both of
inflatable?
them gonna be at the DNC.
Yeah, okay.
Frickin' frack.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Hillary's not going to miss a chance. I guess she'll go to her grave saying, isn't there somewhere I can speak today or a book I can write?
I want to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Darn it. Come on. Yeah. You're not, Hillary. Go away.
I'm glad that dynasty's over with, to be honest with you. I hope it stays buried. But anyway, I'm listening in, and I'll let somebody get in here that's got something a little bit more intelligent to say than me, but I thought that would be a pretty good one. If you like free, vote for me. That's about all they can offer up.
Every year they do it.
Yeah, every time they're
every time
that's
there,
what it
right.
is.
In the words
Free,
of in the words of Joe Biden, have a great day.
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah.
Come on.
All right, I'm listening. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Levy. There we go. Always got to do it. Hey, have a great day. So 601-485-9191. So, but that's not a bad slogan. The
free vote for me.
Free vote for me.
Well, I mean, that's been their modus operandi for years now. But of course, that's what it is. I mean, whether you're buying votes through student loans or housing or saying, hey, wait a minute, we're going to limit how much you pay for groceries. That sounds great. Yeah, wonderful. Well, who's paying for all that?
Yeah.
And what damage is that going to do to the country? But, he brought up a great point about the debt. And, no politician wants to address that because they've got to worry about 4 years, not 40 years. So they're not worried about that. It's somebody else's problem. And when it all collapses, I won't be in office anyway. So I'm going to go to my bunker that I've set up through all my campaign donations or whatever. However they did it, and and let everybody else worry about it and then fight it out on the streets. But we have got a serious issue, and that addressed, and nobody's really talking about that.
No.
Neither side, and it needs to be. It's an unpleasant, and it's not politically expedient. It probably won't get anybody elected by saying we've got to cut.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to hear that.
Because what do you do in your household when things are going up like they are? You have to
cut.
You got to cut.
Of course.
Well, I mean, this is America's household, and you would think cut, but no, let's add.
Of course, we'll just spend more.
Yeah. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller. Good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Mr. Mayor, how are we up in Sicalina today?
Well, I'm fine. There's only one thing that's been bothering me now for the last 2 or 3 years that nobody wants to talk about is the national debt.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, indeed. Amen.
And if you get any kind of politician on the radio, I'd like for you to ask him, is he ever going to address the national debt? I don't care about all this other political rhetoric. We got to pay our bills. They keep kicking the can down the road, and one of these days it's going to explode, and all us people, anybody that's got money left in the bank, they will assess it, they'll tax it, they'll grab it and take it away from you, save the country financially, and it's absolutely a sin for them to go up there and add to the national debt every year, because all these politicians have been doing it for years and years and years. They're stacking it up on the future generation. The bubble will burst. Something will have to be done. I don't know if it's going to be 40 or 50 or 60 trillion dollars, but it will happen, and they are one is going to financially destroy the country, but they will not address it. Nobody's concerned. It's the biggest question in my mind. Every one of them needs to be asked, what are you going to do to reduce the national debt? They will not do it.
Well, that's just like, Mr. Benny, we mentioned this earlier, the $25,000 that she's proposing for first-time home buyers as a tax credit. Okay, well, somebody else is going to have to pay that $25,000 down the road. We're just going to add that on and add it on and add it on. And like you said, we're not paying our bills. I mean, we're simply not paying our bills.
When they get to the point that they realize that the American people need to get off their duster and work, take care of their own finances, instead of letting the government promise to take care of them from the cradle to the grave, which they do on some people, want to know how to work the system. I've heard people, a lady talk about, why should I work? I'm a third-generation person that lives off the government. They're going to have to stop somewhere along the line. Good, healthy person don't want to work.
Well, and then on top of folks who, like you said, that are generational like that, what about all the illegal immigrants in this country that are getting a big price tag on assistance as well, too? Add that onto the pile as well.
Oh, absolutely. And the next thing you know, they're going to give them a driver's license and let them vote. How much enemies do we have to invite? Our politicians, our leaders, are leading us down a road of destruction. They are catering to our enemies. When are the voters, going to wake up and stop voting people in that's inviting our enemy in here? Look at the Palestinian students we support. That's one of our enemies. Look at all the college professors that's promoting that. They don't see anything wrong with it. Well, Texas had the right idea. They passed some laws that the tenured teachers, college professors, no longer could be guaranteed staying in, so they stopped that. Now they've kicked a bunch of them out that was so full of woke and so far left that they destroying the country. They kicked them out of Texas. When is Mississippi going to do the same thing? When is the Ivy League college states going to do the same thing? It's there before the handwriting's on the wall. If America will wake up.
Well, the one thing we've all got to wake up to in our area is that every week the VFW on Saturday nights is still the place to be. That's where that's where normalcy is at. Yeah.
Absolutely, amen. And we don't give handouts on the free stuff. We got us good music going on. If you pay the gate fee to get in,
pay to play.
Pay to play. There we go.
Play and have fun.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Well, I know you've been talking about that national debt for a long time. I knew that would really perk up your ears this morning with the additional debt that could be piled on with this policy. So,
absolutely, and you can't get any politician to address it.
Nope.
You know that Michael Guest, he's this fast-talking person. You know, he can talk and deliver stuff and never get around to addressing, even talking about the national debt.
Well, you know, Benny, it's when you look at it on its surface, I mean, these people are trying to get elected, and it's a tough call to tell people, hey, guess what? We're going to have to tighten our belts. you know?
Yeah.
Now, everybody knows deep down that that's the right thing to do.
Right.
But, hey, wait a minute. Why do I have to do that? You know, let somebody else handle that. And so in order to get elected, they cannot address it. In order to get reelected, which is what they all want to do, keep their jobs, they can't address it while they're in office. So, you know, it's sort of it's self-defeating in a sense to ask a politician to do that. Or they won't get reelected.
Right.
They're going to be out of a job.
Right.
And so, nice try, but okay, now we got the new guy coming in. So I don't know if it'll ever be addressed. I mean, it really does we need to have some responsible politicians saying this is it. This is the tough talk. You know, we're going to have to do this in order to survive as a nation. And nobody wants to address it.
They can be so deceptive. Why don't they promise the world, and then once they get in there, they turn around and say, no, we're going to tighten the belt. We're not going to vote for any more freebies. We're going to start paying down the national debt.
Of course, and they'll be there one term. I agree they should. That's one way to get in and start that process, but they're not going to get reelected if they do that, if they pursue that path.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to see some honest person try it just to see.
I agree. I'd love to see it.
I don't think most of the majority of the people are fair in favor of all this freebies. I just don't think most of them are in favor of it. The working class people, because you think about they supporting these deadheads that's on the welfare and all that stuff.
Well, I think it's a much bigger problem than just welfare, but I think that's the start. That is a good way to start it and saying this is the first thing that we cut. But I mean, the first thing we ought to cut is this ridiculous foreign aid, the amount of the millions and billions of dollars that we give to these companies that are our avowed enemy. You know, that we're supporting women's studies in certain countries and things like that. And you know, sorry, we just can't afford to do that anymore. And that's the tack that we need to take.
Yes, absolutely right. We're giving money away we don't have.
Yeah.
And,
I'd much rather it was spent here supporting people on welfare, to be honest, than something overseas. Now, I think we do need to address the welfare and the fraud and everything that's going on with that, and it needs to be a safety net, not a lifestyle. And nobody is addressing that. And you're right, and I think that would not necessarily prevent somebody from being reelected if they were addressing those major issues. There's a lot of fine-tuning that needs to go on that people won't like, but still, we need to do that too. But something needs to be done. It's getting worse and worse. And that clock, I don't know if you've got the debt clock going, but it constantly is rolling over. I mean, it's amazing how much debt we're adding every minute.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, you know, if they pass one bill that's good for the country, that's 10% goes to that, and 90% goes to poor. Never fails. Never fails. But wake up, America. I really believe that most of the working class people would be in favor of a politician running on that ticket. But they're all scared to try. Try it one time, honest people. Oh, well. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Stick to it.
With that thought, I hope everybody still has a great day.
Oh, there we go.
Man, how can we not now?
I think we got his blood pressure up a little bit. He needs to settle down. So we're going to take a break. We'll return after this. We'll take more of your calls at 485-9191. Stay close.
Meyer & Rosenbaum has been meeting your insurance needs since 1932 and has grown to become one of the largest insurance agencies in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Meyer & Rosenbaum, your local trusted choice agency, helps you protect the things that are important to you. You can never be too prepared, so call Meyer & Rosenbaum to schedule an appointment at 601-693-6141. Caring for you, caring for our community. Meyer & Rosenbaum.
Request hotline.
Hey, I'm ready for something fast and hot.
Fast and hot?
I'm ready for a large, hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars.
Is this Chris Lyons with Little Caesars Pizza?
Yes, but I want your listeners to know that Little Caesars is celebrating 20 years of hot and ready pizza here in Meridian. During the month of August, come by either location of Little Caesars each Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. and get a large, hot and ready pepperoni pizza for just $5.50.
That's Tuesdays, 5 to 8 p.m., hot and ready at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza. pizza.
Your local weather forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Local weather now. We're tracking north winds after that cold front hit us last night, bringing also those scattered showers and thunderstorms last night and throughout the day yesterday. We should be rain-free today. We're going to be mostly clear. Lots of sunshine. Highs still hot, mid-90s, but the humidity will be slightly lower thanks to those north winds. Tonight will drop to the 60s with more low 90s tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Matt Standridge with Meridian's News Talk leader, News Talk 102.1 WALT FM.
Meridian's News Talk leader is 102.1 FM, WALT FM Meridian, and online at WALTmeridian.com.
Well, I've got a good friend who's got a good life. He's got 2 pretty children and a real nice wife. Yet he never seems quite satisfied. Well, I said I know what's on your mind, but you better think about it before you cross that line. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. Then what? What you gonna do when the new wears off and the old shines through? And it ain't really love and it ain't really lust. You ain't anybody anyone's gonna trust. Then what? Where you gonna turn when you can't turn back for the bridges you burned? And fate can't wait to kick you in the butt. Then what? Whoa, then what?
Yeah, the birthday boy Clay Walker celebrating his 55th birthday today, and hope you're having an awesome start to your Monday. A few minutes away from Fox News at the top of the hour. Of course, we're online at WALTmeridian.com, Facebook Live, and YouTube. And, of course, be sure to download that WALT app wherever you get your apps, whether it be the App Store or Google Play, and just search WALT 102.1. And a lot of great local advertisers always are partnering with us here on Mornings in Meridian, and one of those is our good buddy Billy Adam Calvert and the staff down at Southern Business Supplies. And Charles, you're going to check the inventory today?
Always do. I got a little list going of what I need for the office, Post-its, little boxes, whatever you need. Southern Business Supply has it. Of course, all office supplies. They got janitorial supplies, those big 5-gallon spring water coolers, break room supplies. And if you go down there to their store, their wonderful showroom at 5685 Dale Drive, you will see all kinds of office furniture and home office furniture. The new chair, desk, whatever that's going to be, bookcases, they have it all down there. Filing cabinets, too. Who doesn't need filing cabinets? Of course, they even have an in-house designer, too, if you need a little assistance setting up that home office. Yes, indeed. But what I do, as I said, I get all my inventory. I see what I need for the week, whether that's staplers. And, paper clips, etc., etc. I go to southernbusinesssupply.com, and once I'm on that site, it logs in with all my information. It populates things that I've ordered before. I just got a point click, and then it is delivered the next day.
Beautiful.
You can't beat it. Better than some of those other websites because it's local. That's right. We're not mentioning them anyway. And, when you buy your local, your money stays here. It doesn't go to Jeff Bezos and his yacht somewhere in South America or wherever he is. No, it stays right here and helps out a local family. Of course, all I do is say no to stores and yes to Southern Business Supply. .com. You can also call them 601-485-2447.
What do we always say? Just right across the way on the Wayman Mule Bridge.
The Wayman Mule Bridge.
The Wayman Mule Bridge. Don't want to forget about the Wayman Mule Bridge. So we're going to take a break, and I got Fox News coming up along with Angry Sean Hannity in his Morning Minute.
Nice.
We'll
check. A martial artist, I believe.
I know. We'll check in with Cash Matlock, too, and our Queen City News update, Queen City News feed update, rather. And we'll take more of your phone calls after the top of the hour. 485-9191. We'll return.
There's bound to be some consequences sneaking under other fences. Whoa, then what? What you gonna do when the new wears off and the old shines through? And it ain't really love and it ain't really lust. You ain't anybody anybody's gonna trust. Then what? Where you gonna turn when you can't turn back for the bridges you burned? And fate can't wait to kick you in the butt. Then what? Whoa.
President Biden's night. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. He'll speak on the first day of the Democratic convention, weeks after dropping out of the race, supporting Vice President Harris, who will accept the nomination Thursday.
So this is effectively a big show to say that a new leader is taking the stage with the president's blessing and all is good.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich also reports from Chicago.
We're getting a better sense of how Harris is using this convention, and it's shaping up to have a message that's light on policy and heavy on vibes, that it's time to unite and take the fight to Trump.
The former president and his running mate J.D. Vance plan to campaign this week in battleground states to counter the Democrats' message. There'll be a Trump rally this afternoon in York, Pennsylvania. Back to Chicago, there will be a lot of anti-war demonstrations angry at the Biden administration's support of Israel and Gaza.
There's going to be more than 200 groups protesting, many of them pro-Palestinian protesters, and there are concerns among some analysts that among the extreme groups there could be an attempt to grab attention away through confrontation from the convention.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is in Israel pushing a ceasefire for Gaza.
This is a decisive moment, probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to get the hostages home.
Hamas has rejected the latest peace offer, blaming Israel for changing the terms. Before the Biden speech tonight, House Republicans released their report this morning in their impeachment inquiry, alleging the president defrauded the U.S. and abused his power as vice president to help enrich his family.
These accusations against the Bidens are wide-ranging. The report says, quote, several witnesses testified that Hunter Biden invoked his father in business dealings with Romanian, Chinese, Kazakhstani, and Ukrainian companies, resulting in millions of dollars flowing to the Biden family.
That's Fox's Brooks Singman. Now, President Biden's denied any wrongdoing. Democrats have called this inquiry a sham and a political stunt. America's listening to Fox News.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
There are searches for missing people here and overseas. First to Connecticut, where 2 people were swept away with a car in Oxford when a road turned into a rushing river after heavy rain.
Flash flooding in parts of southern Connecticut late Sunday left roads, bridges, and homes damaged and people trapped. This man in Southbury watched a raging flood carry his pickup truck 1,000 feet.
The rush of water was so strong, it took out this dam. It took down my barn. It appears it was probably about 6 feet deep with water coming right down the road.
Certain spots in Connecticut took on about 10 inches of rain within several hours. Some commuter trains to New York City are suspended due to impassable tracks. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Now, the other search is being conducted by the Italian Coast Guard after a yacht sank.
The 184-foot super yacht Basian was sunk by bad weather near the Italian island of Sicily. According to Italy's Coast Guard, the storm was unexpectedly violent. On board, 12 passengers and a crew of 10 American, British, and Canadian nationalities represented. Initially, 15 people were rescued, including a 1-year-old child. A man's body was found outside the wreckage. The yacht is now thought to be more than 150 feet below the surface. Divers are searching the scene. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Ukrainian troops have taken out another bridge in Russia's Kursk region as they continue to move deeper, taking over territory in a counter-invasion, trying to cut off supply lines to Russian forces, who at the same time continue to also take over areas inside Ukraine. In the city of Pokrovsk today, Ukrainian authorities ordered families to evacuate as Russian troops close in. On Wall Street, stock futures are rising a bit after the big gains last week, the biggest all year for the S&P 500, up almost 4%. The Dow rose more than 5%. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I mean, if she mentions the 2025 agenda one more time, I don't even know what the 2025 agenda is. People think I know. I'm like, I'm not paying attention to it. Donald Trump has been put together by people that claim, well, I think Donald Trump knew all about it. Donald Trump says, I have no idea what it is, and I've never read it, and don't even know who the people are that put this thing together, and has denounced it, says he's not supporting it again and again and again, just like she lies about Donald Trump's position on abortion. She's lied about that repeatedly, and it's pretty unbelievable. But we're now in a situation where what she wants is a complete dismantling of the greatest economic system ever designed and created by man.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
You know, out of all the things we can do to maintain and protect our homes, you know what? Getting up on a ladder, cleaning out the gutters, that's the last thing anyone wants to do. I know, I've done it. And right now you can save up to 30% off your entire purchase when you go to leaffilter.com/Hannity. An investment in Leaf Filter is an investment engineered to protect your entire home. Now, the beauty of Leaf Filter is they take care of everything start to finish. Every installation comes with a free inspection, free estimate, and a lifetime guarantee. Now, a Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will clean out, realign, seal your gutters before installing Leaf Filter, protect your home, and never clean out gutters ever again with Leaf Filter. They're America's #1 gutter protection system. And schedule your free inspection. Get up to 30% off your entire purchase when you go to leaffilter.com/Hannity. That's a free inspection up to 30% off. LEAFfilter.com/Hannity. And do it today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount, 1 discount per household.
Local news now on 102.1 WALT Meridian.
I'm Cash Matlock with Queen City News Feed. Here's what's happening. Lauderdale County Sheriff's deputies and the Meridian Police Department were seen in the Briarwood subdivision Sunday afternoon investigating a suspicious death. We are waiting for more details on this case. That's all we know at this time. Several arrests were made after a structure fire broke out at an apartment complex on North Glen Avenue in Quitman around 1 p.m. Sunday, although the fire has been ruled as accidental. According to Clark County Hot Topics, a structure at Shadowwood Apartments was fully engulfed. When first responders arrived on scene, a female resident at the apartment complex allegedly charged at volunteer firefighters with a makeshift knife while they were trying to battle the blaze. Linda Thompson was arrested at the scene and charged with simple assault on a fireman. Bond will be set for Thompson later today. A second male individual was also arrested after he allegedly admitted to starting the fire on purpose. However, after an extensive investigation by arson specialists, the male suspect was cleared of any wrongdoing and the fire was ruled as accidental. A third individual, Matthew Scott, was arrested by Quitman Police Department on Long Boulevard in Quitman for old fines. MSU, MCC, and the Mississippi Automotive Manufacturers Association are partnering for the Eco Car Mobility Challenge today at 2 p.m. at the MCC Workforce Development Center. I'm Cash Matlock with Queen City Newsfeed. For more news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook or visit queencitynewsfeed.com.
Visit our new home online at WALTmeridian.com.
Good morning and welcome back in. Hour number 2 of Mornings in Meridian. Hope you're having a great start to your Monday morning, August the 19th. Our number, of course, is 601-485-9191. Roger will return later on this week. And once again, happy anniversary to the Burks this morning. Roger and Debbie celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary today.
Wow.
So he is doing some celebrating today. And
you think she's celebrating too? She's like, how did I do this?
She's the one that should be celebrated.
Celebrated.
Yes, thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah,
Well done, Debbie.
So absolutely. So happy anniversary to them, and he'll return to the show later on this week.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, exactly. So the app, of course, WALTMeridian.com, so many ways to be a part of the program this morning. Of course, we spent a pretty good bit of the first hour talking about the Harris economic plan, the national debt, as it continues to balloon out there. And like I said, I don't think there'll ever be a politician that's going to address the national debt.
Well, you know, the nature of balloons, the bigger they get, the closer they are to popping.
Pop.
Yeah.
It's eventually going to happen, that's for sure.
Explode.
So, well, of course, you heard during the Fox report there a few minutes ago that today is the start of the Democratic National Convention. Of course, the convention site is at the United Center there in Chicago, and it's going to be a 4-night event, just as the RNC was. RNC was, about a little over a month ago, something like that. But, very busy few nights are on the schedule for the DNC, and tonight... Is this one of those deals where they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and put him out there tonight so we can get this over with, and that being President Biden is going to be the featured speaker tonight.
The featured speaker.
I guess you would say the featured speaker. So, but
well, I think people will forget about him by Thursday. You know, maybe that's it. How badly he did.
Well, they're saying tonight's speech is going to be one of those, I guess, the symbolic handing of the torch over to the next generation.
The handing of the ice cream bowl.
Yeah,
what is that? What
handing of the ice cream bowl.
I give it to.
Well, each night of the DNC has a theme, and
what's tonight's theme?
Tonight is for the people.
It's for the people.
Joe Biden is going to speak tonight. Also, the current First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, along with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, is going to speak tonight.
Wow. Is there a football game on tonight?
I don't think so.
Should be.
And also, Chicago Mayor Brandon Jones is going to give or Johnson rather, is going to give the big welcome tonight. Obviously, you know, the mayor of Chicago welcoming in the convention. So,
think he's welcoming all those protesters?
Oh, doubt it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of them.
There's a lot of those outside.
Well, and interestingly enough, Fox just had a kind of a little story on that and showing some pictures. We don't have the sound up, but just piles upon piles of protest signs, you know, all stacked up neatly, ready to go. Come on in and grab one. I mean, they're prepared for it. So that throws really a monkey in the wrench. And Tuesday, a bold vision for America's future. Former President Obama will be speaking on Tuesday evening, plus the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, along with a welcome from current Illinois Governor J.B. Was it Pritzker? Yep, that one.
Of course, his name was on the VP short list there for a little while. Wednesday night, a fight for our freedom. Vice presidential nominee Tim Walz delivers his acceptance speech, preceded by former President Clinton former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. And then Thursday, the theme is For Our Future. That's when Harris will obviously get the convention's nomination for president. Now, today, obviously, is going to be kind of like the RNC was. All the delegates will be there on the floor and doing the symbolic, we're going to do our vote and how many delegates are going where and how, and they'll do all that.
Sure.
So today, obviously, will be the official, there's the box check. She is now the nominee. So, and we'll see if it all goes down like it should, where all the delegates will go that way, or if you might see a couple of them split up here or there. So, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I would be interested to see the context or the text of Biden's speech. I don't know that I'll be watching it live, but, well, live may be a relative term. But, you know, just to see if he actually acknowledges his departure and anything like that. I think it'll be glossed over, and it will just be more of welcoming the next generation and the new candidate and that sort of thing. But it'd be interesting to see if he does mention that at all or allude to it in any way.
Yeah. Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, thanks for holding with us. Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning. I missed a little bit because I've been out of range of the station traveling this morning. But have y'all noticed Tim Walz on these performance, I call them performance, the acting job that he and Kamala does when they get up on stage. But, you know, Kamala gets up to speak, and Tim's up there putting his hands together, bowing like a trained seal, and then he gets both hands in the air and flies them back and forth like a cheerleader. And then he points to her, and I said, I wonder if he learned all that bowing without these 30-something trips to China, where one of the students, they said, that went with him is tried to tell people, said he's straight communist, Marxist, whatever. But said every time when he went over there, he would look for the little Mao Zedong red book where he could get them and hand them out as gifts when he got back to the United States.
Interesting.
And then, yeah, and y'all know, I forgot the word salad, but people thought it's word salad when Kamala said, we need to unburden our burden from the burden or whatever on that. That's straight. That is straight from the Marxist playbook, because basically she's taught, and that's a saying that they say, and of course she was brought up because her dad was a Marxist, but that's a saying that they're saying. Basically it says erase the past and start anew with your whatever you want to do. You know, they want to erase history, and that's what they do, you know, communists and Marxists. But just want to let y'all go. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
it.
Yeah. So, but they've been doing a lot of events together as of late, and Tim Walz is a different guy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just look at some of the policies in Minnesota, and
the failures in Minnesota.
Yeah, a few of those will kind of make your skin crawl a little bit, especially the tampons in the boys' bathrooms. That's a good start. And of course, the one that I really love is you had a huge surplus in your state and you burnt straight through that.
Yeah, well, there's some questions about COVID money, how that was spent, the George Floyd reaction to all the rioting. I mean, it kind of goes on and on and on of a series of failures. You know, I'm sure he's had some successes too, but the failures are pretty significant.
Pretty much outweighing everything right now.
But the tampons in the men's room, I mean, come on. In the boys' room,
that's a little ridiculous.
It is.
Other speakers this week at the DNC will include Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Also, former President Carter's grandson, Jason Carter, is expected to speak on behalf of his grandfather, who has said he hopes to stay alive long enough to vote for Harris, is what Jimmy Carter has said. So, and also there has been a sneak peek. I'm not sure why they put this out there, but they have. The stairs at the delegate entrance, I guess, where the delegates will walk onto the floor of the United Center today to cast their delegate vote. The stairs at the delegate entrance will say, "History is in your hands." That is a quote from Biden's Oval Office address from back on July the 24th of this year. As delegates arrive on Monday ahead of Biden.
That doesn't make sense. History is in your hands.
Yeah.
I mean,
it says, as delegates arrive on Monday ahead of Biden's speech, a digital signage in the United Center will say, "History is in your hands," and "Spread the faith," is what it's going to say on the big sign.
I mean, the future can be in your hands. I don't see how the history can. I mean, the history's done. Am I missing something? What does it mean?
Yeah, I'm looking at they got it up on the big jumbotron above where the Bulls would play their basketball games, and then the steps that go down to the floor. They have like one word on one step, and it kind of big slogan all the way down to the floor.
Sounds confusing.
Yeah, it really is. So
okay,
so there you go. There's your preview of this week at the DNC.
Wow.
Because I know you were so looking forward to that.
I've got my schedule all set.
Well, I mean,
not to watch any of it.
I'm just doing my due diligence. We covered the RNC pretty extensively, and now the other convention is happening.
Well, and in all fairness, I didn't watch a whole lot of the RNC either.
Yeah.
So, and I may watch some of this, but it might be painful to do so.
Let's go. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Morning, boys.
By the way, Scott, congratulations, Male Athlete of the Year for the state games of Mississippi. Congratulations.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, wow. Thank you. It was an unbelievable honor and humbling event. I don't get lip quivered in front of 200-plus people very often.
Oh.
Anyway, the history is in your hands. I'm assuming that they're referring to your opportunity to elect the first African-American woman as president.
I guess so.
Or first woman even. Take your pick.
Yeah, either one, yeah. Charles is still pondering, I think.
Call him at noon. He'll probably get it by then.
Yeah.
Charles, wake up.
What? Who's that? What's going on?
We're talking about the DNC. I'm trying to keep him awake.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was thinking, you know how Donald Trump sat there all week, every night?
Yeah.
Until it was his turn?
Right.
I'd love to see Joe Biden stay there all week.
Wow.
I wouldn't
bet. Caught in the back.
I was about to say I wouldn't bet on it.
Easy chair with his
I
recliners.
know. He'd be asleep half the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's my thing about it. Usually, this is what they did with the RNC. I know for network television, they would have I guess they went to live coverage around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Well, the featured speaker, he or she speaks for a pretty good while. I mean, are they going to try to stretch this out where Biden only has to speak for just a few minutes because he's the big name tonight? I guess you would say.
The main event.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it'll be what it'll be, and we shall see. The fact that any American cannot see what T.T. Waltz and Calamity Harris represent. Just anyway.
Well,
our country's clearly not very smart when folks go spend $250,000 to get a Baskin-Weaving degree from an Ivy League college.
Yeah, but if you're
getting their bets paid, I mean, that's
about to say, if you're they're going to have a $25,000 tax credit for their first home, and this child tax credit that looks fantastic,
Squeeze
and the
out a
student
few.
loan
Yes,
stuff.
indeed.
It's all kind of good stuff here.
Yeah, well, I mean, here comes your socialism.
Free phone, maybe.
And they're
kind of like that.
And they're going to be
No, free, dude, Charles. They're giving out free phones, sunshine. Just go down to the border and cross.
Yeah, and come back.
Come back,
that's not a bad
come back, give you a free
right.
phone.
All right, boys, had enough fun with it.
All right, well,
Catch y'all later in the week.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
See ya.
Male Athlete of the Year.
That's right.
Calling in. Wow.
Yeah, State Games of Mississippi had their big banquet over the weekend. Scott Gray was the Male Athlete of the Year, so congratulations to him. So let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Got a correction.
Correction. Okay. All right.
Are we allowed for correction today?
Absolutely.
Sure,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Once again, Camilla and Barack, they are not African American according to the term that was given to the descendants that's in America from the African slaves that came to the country. And I'm not a negative person either. That name was given to us, and I'm 81% DNA is African, and the other 19% is scattered. It's a little bit of hit this and a little bit of that, salt and pepper. But anyway, we keep saying that she is a woman of color. Well, wait a minute. I don't even know if she's a woman because Miss Jackson, Justice Jackson, she can't even determine and tell us what a woman is, so we don't know if she's a woman or not. So since the Supreme Court can't give us a good decision what a woman is, I don't even know if she's a woman, but I know she's not African American. There's neither one of her parents was a slave that was brought to this country, so that title does not apply to her and her or Barack Obama. And I'm very adamant about that because truly we earned that because of our ancestors. And I just don't like to hear that slung around just because a person is colored or whatever. No, it does not apply to her or anyone else that's in her category. She might have had an African dad or whatever, but he was not a descendant of the slave that was in this country.
Charles, what is her ethnicity? I mean, I believe her mother is Indian.
And her father's Jamaican, I
Jamaican, yeah. I believe that's her, yeah.
Yeah.
Yum on.
So it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to her. And then for other note, I see a lot of clearing that's going on around town too, y'all. That's a good sign. I'd like to see progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd like to see that progress. So, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that in, and So I want to say something to all of my Caucasian or white Americans, okay? Don't be afraid to like I said, if you know that that's not right, don't be afraid somebody gonna call you a racist because you say she's not African American, or just like President Trump. I hope you don't get afraid to go after criminals, because if you in politics or you in that arena, hey, I'm sorry. I'm gonna come after you, or I'm looking for a word that I can't think of. But anyway, if you're on the football field, hey, you're gonna get hit, okay?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to say is that he ain't racist or whatever, because he go after her or anybody else once you get in that theater. And that's my thought, Malcolm. So I want the president, if she up there, go after everything that she's done. Put it out there, put it out there. She's crooked. That's the bottom line. She's crooked. I'm listening in, gentlemen.
All right, my man. Appreciate you out there.
She's a politician. She'd have to be crooked.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with
Not to be overly cynical, but
well, I agree with our man on the street right there. I mean, man, woman, black, white, whatever it might be. You are in that political arena, and there are going to be shots taken on every side. That's
Set
just
yourself up for it.
That's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, but as far as the ethnicity goes, I'd actually never heard that specifically African American applies to those who are descendants of slaves and not of any other people from African origin. So I mean, is Barack Obama, whose father was African, then not considered? I don't know. I guess he would be probably on some census demographic.
I think it's things that most
official.
Americans really don't give a you-know-what about.
Yeah, we're all American.
Yeah.
The American part is the vital part of all those. The prefix, not so much.
Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning. How you guys?
Hello, sir.
Great to hear y'all. Listen, I want to talk about what y'all were talking about earlier today. I couldn't call in. I couldn't get in.
Yeah, we've been a little busy.
Camellia, whatever you call her. These price controls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you. I had 24 hours of economics in college. It came along with my business degree, and I'm telling you, you learn how government really is the only person that can cause inflation, okay? They are the ones that actually makes inflation, if you want to call it that. They're the only one big enough that can control the narrative as far as how much money they can pump into the economy and stuff. So they really can cause inflation. But these price controls, that once they cause inflation, and then they start trying to implement price controls, and what's going to happen, guys, is like if they said, all right, we want a gallon of milk to be $1. Next week, there won't be none on the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It will be just like Russia. That's what they do. They have price controls, and they don't have anything to buy. And I just cannot imagine how stupid they are to think that they can do that. I'll tell you something else while I'm on the soapbox. All this drug stuff there. Oh, we got you better prices on insulin and all this. And last week, just out of the blue, I got an email from somebody talking about all these 9 drugs that they just dropped the price drastically on, which was like Ozempic and all these high-dollar drugs that people are using for weight loss. And they've got better prices on all that stuff. And the way they're doing it, they're not negotiating with anybody. All they're doing is telling the drug companies, this is what we're going to start paying you, and you've got to like it, or we'll take your license to make it. That's how they do it. And it's not a negotiation. And that causes shortages. When people can't make a decent profit on what they're doing, they will stop making it. And I just cannot believe they're so stupid they don't know that.
Well, and you know what, Tony, it's funny about it is there is an economic strategist or commentator on CNN that was also comparing this to the Soviet Union. You have a person on CNN who is basically a spokesperson, but that channel is like a lot of other channels for the Democrats, and they'll be swooning over the DNC this week. You've got one of your own basically saying, no, this is just like the Soviet Union, this grocery, this they're calling it price gouging, but it's,
I think Tony brings up the great example of the gallon of milk. I mean, if it costs the farmer more money to send it to the store,
bingo.
I mean, if they're losing money on it, they're pouring it in the ground. I mean, it's going down the drain. Why spend money to get it to the store? It doesn't make sense unless they're subsidized. Once again, the government would pay them more. Yeah.
One of the biggest things, guys, is the cost to diesel fuel to actually make a product and get it to the store. The big trucks bring it, okay?
Yep.
Big trucks bring it to the store. You've got tractors that run on diesel that has to plant the seeds in the ground. You've got combines and all that. And like I say, you can say, well, cows, what different deal, but you got to bring them feed. You got to feed the cows. So it's all diesel fuel. And they did the worst thing they can do is not making us energy independent anymore and having to buy our oil overseas. And that's what's made the whole stinking problem is their policies. And I guess, again, they're too stupid to realize it. And and I'll say this, guys, Mississippi, Trump's going to win by double digits, in my opinion. I ain't talked to a single person that I know that would be voting Democratic in this race, okay? I'm sure there's some out there, but I think Trump's going to win by double digits. And the thing that I miss, I guess, is anybody seen any ads that Trump's running in these battleground states that's telling this to people? I mean, is there any way you can go online and look up Trump's commercials and watch them? I'd like to see what he's saying.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Tony. I was actually watching a cable channel over the weekend. It was actually a sports affiliate of the Atlanta Braves over, it was Bally. And there's a bunch of campaign ads on that because it comes out of Georgia. And I did actually see some of Trump's campaign ads over the weekend. And basically, his messaging is going after Harris in a way that, she's this radical left wing, with the border, the economy, and everything else. But her ads are way outweighing him right now because of the honeymoon period and all the fundraising that's been raised for her. But that's just Georgia. I can't speak for Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan or anywhere like that.
We're not going to see any ads here.
No, we're not going to see any here. But I imagine those. But I imagine those are on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Okay, so go to YouTube. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that. I'd like to know what's being said because if anybody's got half a brain, you'll see through this real quick all the problems they caused, and now the fixes are all socialist fixes, and we don't want socialism. Everybody, if they're again taking history out of school, you learn from your mistakes, right? And every country that has gone communist or socialist failed. And that's the thing. You've got to understand. It's just like this. The people that don't want to work, don't want to get an education, and don't feel like they have what everybody else has, that's the people that vote socialist. Okay? And it's a sad situation that we find ourselves in, that we got that many millions of people that would vote for a Democrat or a socialist candidate, and knowing how screwed up our country's going to become, and there'll be no fixing it. I mean, once the damage is done, you can't hardly fix it. Right now, I feel like if Trump gets elected, he can fix a lot of the damage that they did during this first term. But if they get another 4 years or 8 years in there, there'll be no fixing it. We'll be a socialist country. And I just really hate that we're going down this path, guys. But we just got to do our part. Like I told my wife, she's all worried about it, and I told her, I said, all we do, Deb, we got 2 votes. And as long as we vote for Trump, we've done right. I sent a little money to his campaign, and I said we've done everything we can do to help the man get elected, because we live in a state that is going to put him in to get our electoral votes. Unfortunately, it's only going to be 7?
Yeah, it's not many. Yeah.
It's not many. That's all we can give him. But we're going to give him everything we've got here. And it's just going to be up to these other states that these people are going to have to wake up and see the situation we find ourselves in. And, it's kind of like Bill O'Reilly said, he was on Hannity a few months ago. I'll tell you when it was, a couple of years ago. It was right after the election where Republicans supposed to sweep everything and how close it was. And, Republicans didn't get near about as many House seats as they thought they were going to get, that type thing. And Bill O'Reilly said, unfortunately, we've become tribal in our voting. If my leader of my tribe says vote this way, that's just what I do, And it's just people are not thinking for themselves and what it means to the country as overall, It's all about me, myself, and I. It's not about the country and what's good for the common good of the country. And that's so sad. So anyway, for what it's worth, my economics kicked in. As soon as I heard price gouging and grocery stores make 1.6% average profit margin, it's all a volume business. It always has been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think somebody's gouging the price.
Yeah.
Well, the craziness is she hasn't even talked about her increase in minimum wage yet.
Yeah.
And what's that going to do to grocery stores?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
It gets worse and worse.
And then, but like I say, it's just like out in California. All these people I keep reading just every week. These chains of restaurants that are having to pay these people $20 an hour. They go up on their prices to be able to try to compensate for that, and people quit buying their product.
Of course.
And they have to close the doors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the stupidest thing. You cannot regulate that through government interference. Business has to regulate itself. If your prices get too high, people will not buy your product.
Yep.
Period. Competition will force them to go somewhere else.
Yep.
And like a lot of places, I'm not going to buy that McDonald's burger anymore. It's too high. I'm not going to pay $20 for a burger. So that's how it works. Government interference is what's caused all this problem.
Well, Tony, the only thing
for what it's worth.
Tony, the only thing I ask you is next time you call in, tell us what you really think.
Don't hold back.
I'll do that. And Rob, I want to say this, Rob. You did a great job Friday night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Man. I'm telling you, you're really making a name for yourself, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
There we go. So, but yeah, I think the comparison on the milk right there is very good. Yeah, if it's $1 for a carton of milk.
Well, and Tony said, hey, they're not paying for corn. Well, they are, because that's the feed for the cattle. And so it's all of that diesel fuel that is, it just goes on and on and on.
It's just a trickle-down effect on everything. So. Well, in the words of Mr. Benny earlier, wake up, America!
Yeah, I wish we would.
We're going to take a break. We'll return in just minutes.
With Your Money Now. Breaking news, the Securities and Exchange Commission has charged billionaire activist investor Carl Icahn with illegally failing to disclose $1 billion worth of personal margin loans pledged against the value of his Icahn Enterprises stock. Amazon is seeking FAA approval to expand its drone delivery service in College Station, Texas, which is its primary testing ground. The program, which has struggled to get off the ground, is now facing scrutiny from College Station residents who are complaining about the noise levels. Amazon said in July that it would move its drone facility further away from the neighborhoods. And in more breaking news, General Motors announced that it will be laying off 1,000 salaried employees. Futures are currently slightly higher after the S&P 500 scored its best week of the year. Friday, the Dow Industrials gained 96, the NASDAQ up 37. That's Your Money Now.
0% financing up to 96 months. If you need a new tractor for a few acres behind your house, for farmland, or for your hunting camp, then hurry to Freeman Tractor, Highway 494, Collinsville, Mississippi, and see all the new LS tractors. LS tractors are built tough, easy to use, and they last for years and years. Freeman Tractor has all different sizes, models, and horsepower to fit your needs. And right now, with approved credit, 0% financing up to 96 months is being offered. Freeman Tractor Company, LS Tractors. That's the blue one. And they're terrific.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about.
Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins.
Touchdown!
Join us Saturday, August 31st as the Crimson Tide kick off the 2024 season at home against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on your home for Alabama football.
Meridian's News Talk 102.1 WALT Meridian.
Hey there, East Mississippi. Looking for high-speed internet that feels like a friendly neighbor? Look no further than East Mississippi Connect. We pride ourselves on providing top-notch local service with a smile. Enjoy lightning-fast speeds at unbeatable prices. Don't settle for less. Visit eastmsconnect.com today and experience the connection you deserve. That's eastmsconnect.com.
Your home for mornings in Meridian is News Talk 102.1 WALT.
Tonight, oh, down beside that red firelight, oh, you gonna let it all hang out, fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
Not very politically correct.
Just let it marinate for a second. It's one of those right-left channel songs.
Left, right, whatever it is. Yeah.
John Deacon from Queen. He retired from the band back in 97. He is 73 today. Of course, I mentioned country music singer Clay Walker, 55 today. Leanne Womack, 58. And Uncle Jesse, John Stamos from Full House, he is 61 years old today. And former President Bill Clinton is 78 today. And you guessed that age right earlier, son. Look at you. 601-485-9191. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hey, Miss Ruth, how are you?
I'm fine. I need some help, though. I'm looking for anybody who happens to know the name of, I think his name is John Calhoun Jr., who actually put Meridian on the map because his picture went around the world when he was a part of the Selma March. He's the one who had that white stuff on his face and vote was written across his forehead. That was the picture that went all over the world, really. Anyway, he's from Meridian, Mississippi. And I was trying to find out if somebody, I know his last name is Calhoun. It's Calhoun Jr. I think it's John Calhoun Jr. And he grew up down there, I suppose, where maybe Mississippi James, maybe in that area. I'm not really sure. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because on Saturday, there's going to be the unveiling of a statue of John Lewis. And he is replacing the statue of a Confederate person. And when you start thinking about it, we have just grown. When we start getting really depressed and people keep saying, well, it just seems as if we're just going back. But events like this will let you know that we have definitely grown. And so in case of John Lewis, who was with that Selma March, and only, I think he was arrested about 55 times and was beaten merciless all over the page and that kind of thing. Anyway, this ceremony, this unveiling is Saturday in Decatur, the city of Decatur, Georgia. And I just wish that I could, because this young man was also at this march. And I was just wondering if somebody knows who the person is that I'm talking about. His last name is Calhoun, and he's a junior. And he's the one who had who wore that vote thing over his head. I mean, across his forehead and everything. I'm just wondering if, like, where is he? Can he make it to the event on Saturday? It's from 11 to 1. They're in Decatur, Georgia. He should really be a part of this. So if somebody knows anything, please try to get in touch with Howard there at the Meridian Star. Tell him about it.
All right. Well, Miss Rook, we appreciate that this morning.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. All right, so trying to go on a search here.
John Calhoun Jr.
John Calhoun Jr.
I Googled it, and it was, I got John C. Calhoun a bunch, but
okay.
I think there's a doctor named John
Okay.
Calhoun
Well,
Jr.,
if anybody
but, anyway.
knows of anything or any info, just give us a call here at the station.
Yes, indeed.
485-9191. Let's thank our friends down at Trucker Supply. Of course, folks, Milwaukee is the name to go. They have that new sign out front that says Milwaukee Superstore.
Superstore. And it is one-stop shop for all your tools. They do have a full room in Milwaukee. Everything they make. Cordless power tools, saws, drills, invec drills, sanders, grinders, cutters, routers, grease guns, and more.
And more.
I like the and more part.
And more.
And, of course, most of those have those interchangeable batteries. So you buy kind of one set and you change the battery on that one, that one, that one, that one. It's all very convenient for you. Of course, they also have the Knipex tools like channel locks on steroids. What does Roger say? 10 times the gripping power. I don't know how they determine that, but anyway, I'll go with that. And, of course, they got Yeti. Everything Yeti you would ever need. Mugs, coolers, lunch boxes, you name it. They've even got Yeti parts. So if you need a new lid for that Yeti mug, go down to Trucker Supply and pick one up. It is, as I said, Tool Central. I challenge you to go in that store and not buy anything. It's virtually impossible unless you go in without your wallet, and then actually you can't do that. But bring your wallet because you're gonna want to buy something.
Put it on Roger's account.
Oh yes, I think I'll start doing that. Yeah. The Carr family's been doing it since 1969, 55 years in business. Man,
it's amazing.
It says something about that. Businesses last that long. Trucker Supply, go see them, 519 Highway 19 South, right across from the mall, right next to McDonald's. You know where they are.
601-485-9191 is our number. We got a few minutes left here on the program. Of course, Glenn Beck coming up at 9, followed by Clay and Buck, and then Sean Hannity, and then
He's very angry.
Yeah, he is. Joe Pags later on your drive home. But getting back to some overseas dealings this morning, things are getting a little tense over in Israel, of course. As Blinken had a 3-hour meeting with the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, I believe yesterday, it was over the weekend, trying to come up with some kind of a ceasefire. And, there was a bomb, I believe, that went off in Tel Aviv, killed one person. Things are still pretty tense over in that area. Yeah. And, with the DNC starting this week, of course, the pro-Palestinian protesting, we've talked about that several times this morning, but ceasefire, those words keep being tossed around as the diplomatic talks continue.
Well, and certainly they would love to have, the Democrats would love to have that feather in their cap to say, look, we have negotiated a ceasefire.
Especially on this week.
Of course, now when the focus is on that. And there's a very large, some might say huge Palestinian protest that is planned for throughout the week at the DNC. And you wonder what sort of policy change that's going to affect or how they're going to kind of play that. And so, because I think that Harris so far has been very much in support of Israel and not necessarily in support of the war that they're waging against Hamas, but certainly in support of Israel. So, you tend to wonder what kind of pressure this is going to put on the party and if they will succumb to some of that pressure and if they will backpedal a little bit on any of that. I doubt that they will. I think they'll just kind of ignore the protesters. But the size of the protest is really going to be a factor. So
it's a pretty good amount of folks. They showed it earlier. There was already some protesting even yesterday and back on Saturday as well. So,
but it's interesting because Netanyahu, I don't think is a big fan of the Democratic Party and specifically Harris, nor Biden for that matter. And so I wonder if he will resist any sort of temptation to negotiate a settlement this week and not give them that sort of feather in the cap.
Yeah, a little victory lap in Chicago this week.
It might just, even if a negotiation, a settlement is on the table, he may just delay it a week or so just to not have it during that time in a way to, kind of tell them what he really thinks about them. But, I don't think that Netanyahu's going to backpedal at all unless they can get all the hostages released. And, we were talking about that earlier off the air that do they have proof of life? How do they know these people are still alive? They've been there for 10 months now, and I'm sure the conditions they're being held in are miserable. Let alone, probably a lot worse than just miserable. There have been a lot of stories of how they're being mistreated and so on. So That's part of the equation, though, is the remaining hostages, even if they're deceased. It's very important for Jewish in the Jewish religion to get those bodies back and to give them a kind of sanctified burial.
Sure.
So, that's kind of the end part of that, but of course you want to get the hostages back alive and not just the bodies.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how that all plays out this week. Not the protesting part, but what's happening overseas in diplomatic talks.
I think the protesting part is a big equation, a big part of that. How big are those protests going to be? Because you would think that there's been such movements all over, and are these college campus protests going to kind of migrate to Chicago? And how big? Well, there's probably not a whole lot of hotel rooms, but of course, I don't know if they need them.
They don't need them. Well, they did show this morning. I mean, this kind of thing exists. They showed a few stores in Chicago that are already boarded up.
Yeah.
There is a service in Chicago that actually does that.
Really?
That's their business. We board up businesses, and I'm like, what a genius idea.
Well, they probably have them, they have them on the Gulf Coast for hurricanes, but we have them in Chicago for protests.
And they had like a stamp on the plywood they put over the windows, and I'm like, look at that, a Chicago area
Protest
business
protected.
that protects the windows from
I need in
protest.
Minneapolis too, for that matter.
Right.
But anyway,
So, but yeah, you're right. It is going to be interesting to see how that all kind of transpires. Well, let me say this: it'll be covered somewhat by certain news channels, but the big networks, your CNNs, MSNBCs, all of them will try to maybe push that to the side.
Unless it's big and
it's so huge they can't
violent.
ignore it.
Exactly, and it's newsworthy.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. If it gets to a point where they got to, that's going to be pretty significant right there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all transpires.
It will be.
So.
Yeah.
And as far as the overseas stuff goes, I mean, diplomatic talks have been going on for days now. I don't know if they're going to get anywhere or not, but we'll see if an attack is made.
Well, there was a report that came out, I think, either late last week or over the weekend, of conversations between Russia and Iran, and the kind of the ties that are becoming closer and closer between those two countries, and that is sort of an interesting development. We knew it was happening, but they're a little more overt about it now, saying, "Hey, that's our buddy," friendly with the Ayatollah.
All right. Yeah, it's foreign policy. It's kind of taking a backseat to all this economic policy here at home right now. So a lot on the table. So we're going to take a break, pay off the rest of our bills. We'll come back to wrap up the show right after this. Stay cool and comfortable this summer with Heblin Heating and Air Conditioning. Our skilled technicians have the expertise to keep your home AC system in top shape. Right now, we have special financing available that includes 0% financing for 60 months with no money down and 10-year parts and labor warranty on qualifying systems. Call Heblin Heating and Air Conditioning today at 601-202-3095 or visit us online at HeblinHeatingandCooling.com.
Hello, this is Charles Frazier with Weidman's Restaurant. Historic downtown is booming, and we are proud to be a part of the economic revival. At Weidman's, you can enjoy Southern classics like shrimp and grits, fried green tomatoes, and black and red fish, or a boudin stuffed pork chop and USDA prime steak. We offer an extensive wine list and handcrafted cocktails, as well as a large selection of Mississippi beers. Come join us downtown at Mississippi's oldest restaurant, Weidman's, since 1870.
Your local weather forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Local weather now. We're tracking a lot of warm sunshine out there across eastern Mississippi, western Alabama. We're going to stay mostly clear for the rest of the day. Now, it's still going to get hot today, mid-90s on the way, but the humidity is not as bad. We got a light north wind, so we'll take what we can get this time of year. But the humidity will be slightly lower, still warm. Temperatures this evening fall back to the 80s with some 60s tonight. I'm meteorologist Matt Standards with Meridian's News Talk leader, News Talk 102.1 WALT FM.
Meridian's News Talk leader is 102.1 FM, WALT FM Meridian, and online at WALTmeridian.com.
right, got just a few minutes left here on the program. Thanks for making us the start to your Monday. 601-485-9191. Still got a few minutes left to check in with us.
You know, I think this song is certainly not a Democrat song. Because the Democratic version would be, we're going to take it.
We're going to take it.
We're
going to take it.
Bring it to us. If you're offering, we're going to take it. Yeah, that's right. Free housing? Oh, yeah, we're going to take it.
Well, I wanted to leave you with this story this morning, and comes from the world of the DNC. Of course, that's been a hot topic this morning.
Strange world that is.
Planned Parenthood is going to be a big part of the Democratic National Convention this week. Planned Parenthood Great Rivers of St. Louis announced in an X post over the weekend that a bus is headed to the DNC in Chicago this week to offer free services.
They're handing out condoms at the DNC?
It says here in the post,
Bill might need some.
Here we come, Chicago. Our mobile health clinic will be in the West Loop with Chicago Abortion Fund on August the 19th through the 20th, providing free vasectomies and medication abortion.
Is that in a bus? Like a mobile clinic?
Come on, come all. We're offering free vasectomies.
If I was going to get a vasectomy, I don't think I would go to like the bus down the street.
The bus down
They're
the
doing
street.
them on the bus. Really?
Yeah, the Planned Parenthood location noted that there is a waiting list for vasectomies. I would think so. During their time at the convention, it says we currently have a wait list for free vasectomies.
There are certain things that I want to pay for, and I think that I wouldn't mind paying for that. Don't give me the free one. It's sort of like buying a pregnancy test at the Dollar Tree. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
Like, I don't think I'm going to buy that one. We want an accurate measure.
They have on the X post. They have a picture of a bus. Well, it looks more like an RV that is rolling to Chicago, and above it says beep beep.
Wow.
We're coming for
The
you.
snip trip.
The snip trip.
Wow. That's hey. No, thank you. I'll spend a few. Whatever it is, $1,000. I mean, I want to get the right doctor and make sure.
Do you have like a
next? Snip, next.
You always have some like a gesture on the sidewalk, like trying to get somebody. How do you do that outside this bus? Like, how do you entice people to come in there for this?
The guy with those big scissors they use for like the ribbon cuttings.
Right.
They're ridiculous, like large ones.
It's not going to cost you $1.
Don't run with those. Yeah, right. Free vasectomy. Kind of like a free haircut is one thing, you know what I mean? That's fine. I'll take a free haircut. It'll grow. Well, mine won't grow back, but you know what I'm saying? But a free vasectomy.
Here's another question I got. Do you have to wear a mask? There's so many jokes here.
Wow.
Hand sanitizer, plenty of it.
Please.
I would hope so.
Please, wash your hands if you don't mind.
Wow. So, but yeah, that is a real thing, folks.
A budget vasectomy.
Yeah.
Some things you want to pay for, toilet paper. You want to buy premium, you know what I mean? You don't want to buy the scratchy stuff.
John Wayne paper.
Right. You'd want to invest in certain things that are worth it. But, I would think a vasectomy would be one of those.
That's one of the things we
don't
always...
mess it up, please. I mean...
Speaking of toilet paper, that's one thing we always pack on a vacation is toilet paper.
Smart, when you get there, you're like, oh, really?
Because when you go to the hotels or whatever resorts and the toilet paper is like the...
Yeah, and you got a week of just like, squirming.
The ride home is going to be a car.
Except for paper.
So everything that is going on in the world, that is happening today and tomorrow.
Free vasectomies.
In Chicago.
Yeah. Ouch. Okay.
I wonder if the protesters will get some.
Yeah, free lobotomies, maybe. That might be a van or a bus that we could look for.
Well, on that note, we're going to get out of here and take a 22-hour break, and we'll return tomorrow. Hey, Ward Calhoun's going to be on the show tomorrow, the Sheriff of Lauderdale County. We've got a lot of ground to cover with the Sheriff tomorrow.
Yes, we do.
And be thinking of something you might want to ask Ward tomorrow at 601-485-9191. Folks, have a great day. Glenn Beck is up next. No matter the craziness in the world, we always encourage you to do one thing, and that is buy local. See ya.